Hello everyone, today's video will be learning how this off-shoulder blouse with scallop neckline was made. So stick around to see the final look, trust the process. So let's go. My dress length is going to be quite long, so make sure the width is wide and the length of your paper is long. So I'm going to be using length 27 inches, so mark your starting line. My half shoulder is going to be 7 inches and my chest vertical line is 7.5 inches. My bust line is 10.5. So the next measurement I have is my under bust, which is 13.5. My waist measurement for the front pattern is 17 inches. Then mark difference for the first front pattern and the back pattern from your shoulder to your waist. So my back pattern is 16 inches. My next measurement is my hip. My hip measurement is 24, so work with your own. The style itself is beyond the hip line, so you need to add more inches to the length. One way to do that, you can decide to add it from your waist. You can add 10 more inches, but from my hip, I'm just going to add 3 more inches and mark out all my vertical lines now. I will go right ahead to label out all my lines for more understanding. So the first line is my shoulder, the chest line, the bust, the under bust, my waist, my hip, and the last my full length. So you can call it additional length. I'll also take the shoulder measurement of 7 inches on the chest line and mark a straight line and connect it. I'll mark my round circumference on the chest line. So 36 divided by 4, that will give me 9 inches. And from my shoulder, I'll come down by 1 inch. Then my neck width is, I'll use 3 inches. I'll connect my shoulder slant to my neckline. And I'll divide what I have left here by 2. So this is 6.5. Half of it is 3.25 inches. Okay. Then I'll come in by half an inch. Then I'm going to connect it to my bust circumference. My next measurement is my bust span. So mine is 8 inches, so work with yours. So I'm going to take that from my bust length. Then I'll mark it to my full length. I'll mark this into a straight line from my bust to my full length. Next thing I'm going to be taking is my dart. For me, I'm going to be using 2 inches, but if you're a busty person, you can use 1.5 inches on each side. So I'll mark 1 inch on the center front and side front. I'll extend it to my full length. Now I'll connect all the lines. I'll proceed to see what I have left at the shoulder slant. So once I know that, I'll divide it by 2. So I have 4 inches, then I'll connect it to my bust. I'll come down by 1 inch from my bust line and use my arm hook off. Just watch how I'll connect it. Put in mind, the style is an off-shoulder blouse, so whatever you want off, measure it. So you can take 4 to 5 inches. So be very sure to measure yourself or your clients. So I'll measure 5 inches. Now move to the tightening. So this is to avoid gaping. So I'll measure half inch on both sides. Then I'll connect it back to my bust. For a busty person, measure 0.75 on both sides. I'll replace back the half inch I took for the over bust tightening to the bust circumference line, so this part will not be short. Moving to the round circumference, my round under bust is 29.5. Then remember my waist for the front pattern and the back pattern is slightly different, so the difference is 1 inch. Then, so if I divide 29.5 by 4, that will give me 7.3 inches. Then I'll replace back my 2 inches that and my allowance of 1.5 inches. My waist is 30 inches. Once I divide it by 4, I'll have 7.5 inches. Then replace back my 2 inches that and also 1.5 inches for allowance. Then my hip is 39 inches. So my hip will give me 9.75 inches and my 2 inches intake for that and 1.5 for allowance. So I'll mark all the points out. My difference of 1 inch from my shoulder to my waist, I'll mark that on my bust line. I'll connect it back to my bust. At this point, I'm going to cut out my pattern. I'll move to the scallop part. So a tracing wheel will be helpful at this point. So trace every part out because we are going to be working on the other side too. This half inch is what I need to work with now. So I don't need this upper part anymore. I'll continue to trace it out. This will make it easy to work with instead of starting to mark out all the lines. So here I can see everything. I'll mark all the lines out and make it visible. I'll take it back to the other side and trace out more lines properly. It's either you spread your pattern, but first I'll open my bust dart. I have the picture of the scallop dress here. So I want to start with a sweetheart neck. So this is why it's necessary to have your tracing wheel. After the neck part, this side went a little bit upper than the sweetheart neck. So here is the center front and I'll mark that on it. And the other curve is for the side front. Work with a pencil first. You might try this as many times till you get your desired shape or curve. From my 5 inches that I marked as my starting point, so you can come down by 2 inches or 1.5. Then for the neck is deep. If you want more exposure, mark 3 inches. But if you want it more covered, move higher. To be sure, measure yourself. So the 1.5 inches is fine also. So I don't want to use my marker yet. So this is for the 2 inches. The sweetheart needs to curve into the chest line, so continue to bring it up slowly, moving to the side scallop. Note it extended to the side front, so what you need to do, you need to fold in your darts. You blend it back into this line right here, then you take it back to the armhole line. After the first attempt, you are satisfied, then you can trace it out. But if you don't like it, you can spread it open and trace it with your pencil. If you love to try again, please do. So I'm going to trace out my scallop. I'll blend this part into the dart line. I'll leave the neck for now. So from my hip line here, you understand the need for the extension. Is because after cutting it, the right side is longer and this is the left side. Let me label the right side. The shorter side is on the left side, while the longer asymmetric is on the right side. So on the left side, there are two asymmetric curves. I'll first mark out the 1.5 inches for allowance, then I'll start my curve after that. Since I'll be sewing it inside the scallop, it will not be obvious. From my hip, I'll come down by 1.5 inches and come inward to measure 1.5 inches for allowance. And from this part here, I'll measure 1.5 in and draw my asymmetric curve. So there are two of it. I'll curve it up and create the second one towards the allowance and connect it back to my allowance. If you observe the thumbnail, you will notice a straight line here. So the asymmetric on the left is connected to it. So you either cut open your darts and use a sellotape to put it back. But I'm not going to do that. I'll just fold in my darts. So the straight line is towards the center front. So mark a straight line to your full length. Now I'll start to draw this curve. So it's more bended. After spreading my pattern wide, I'll use my marker to draw my neck scallop first. I love the results at the upper part here. So for the left side, I also draw out my asymmetric. If you want to readjust yours, try as many times as you wish. So the last one that is left is the right pattern now. I traced out this upper part off camera so that we can fully understand this. So after marking out the left side, remember I said it connected this side with a straight line. So I need to fold in my dart in and mark a straight line. This straight line and the left side must connect. I'll make that curve, that first curve I did on the right side, I'll make it visible. So I need to spread my pattern open to continue. I'll create the first curve and it went in here. So there are three more scallops in the picture. So I'll fold in my dart on the right side, then I'll go up from the first curve. I'll first use my pencil to trace out my desired curve, then I'll go back to use my marker. So the second curve is next. So if you notice, is wider. I'll go up from here and curve it back. So I'll need to close my darts and draw it back into the darts. So the third one is not wide. And for the last curve, I'll mark 1.5 inches allowance like I did for the left side. So I'll mark it now. And this is from the hip line and I'll draw out my curve to meet the third one. So if I'm not satisfied, I can always readjust. Before moving to the back pattern, another method you can use to create your scallop. So come down by 1.5 inches and draw your curve. Also come in by 1.5 inches. So I prefer the first curve that I draw. So then for the next one, you can slash open your darts and join it together. But you can skip that part. So mesh this area together and rule a straight line. But it needs to connect to this curve. Spread your pattern and from the full length, use your ruler from your hip to your full length. Measure 1.5 inches and connect it. So the essence of this is to guide you to create your curve. Alright, so now start drawing out your curve. From here, curve it in. Remember there are four of them. Use your pencil to sketch it out properly. I'll close my dart in order to continue. So I have the first and the second curve. So I'll mark the third one with my dart closed. So I'm going to use my marker to draw it out. I'll first cut out this curve, but I might use the other one. And for the left side, I'll stick to the upper asymmetric. So I'm going to go ahead to cut out my pattern. Next thing to do is to open my dart. So this is for the first asymmetric. So moving to the left side, I'll cut out the last scallop I did. So if you still want to adjust your neck area, fold in your dart and draw your scallop. So I'm okay with mine, so I'll continue to cut it out. So next, I'll cut open my dart. So I would maintain the first scallop and open the dart. So I'll quickly cut this upper part first. So here is my pattern, alright. So you can see the first scallop. So you can go ahead and slash through your dart from here. Since I want the upper scallop, so I'll cut it out before slashing through my dart at the down part. So I love my neckline. So ensure to label your pattern so it won't confuse you. So this is the upper part and here is the lower side using an arrow to indicate. So label all the sides and put a sign to differentiate the upper part from the lower side. So I'll be using the first scallop curve. So I cut that off camera. So for this, I've decided to use the upper scallop. So now it's time to cut. So remember to fold in your dart while you're doing this. I have another paper for my back, so I have my starting line here. Afterwards, I measured my exact hip line. In front, we added extension, but for the back, use your normal hip line. So I have my chest line of 7.5 inches, my waist 16, and my hip. So I measured half of my shoulder, which is 7.5. Then repeat the same measurements on your chest line. I'll mark a straight line connecting the two lines. Then I'll also come down by 1 inch and take 3 inches line. Then I mark my zip allowance of 1 inch. So I'll go ahead and rule out all the lines. After my 1 inch slope, I'm left with 6.5 inches and I connect it to my 3 inches line. Then I'll divide the 6.5 by 2 and come in by half inch. Remember I marked 5 inches at the upper part area for the front pattern. I'll repeat the same here also. So here is my chest line, my waist and my hip. So my front waist is 17 inches, but the back is 16 inches. So take note of yours. Then my chest circumference is 9 inches. So the next will be my bust span of 4 inches. I'll measure it from my chest to the hip, then I'll connect it. I'll connect my armhole. So this will be my starting point and this is my zipper part. Then on my chest line, I'll come down by half inch and measure half inch on both sides. Then from my hip, I'll also come up by 2 inches and connect all the lines together. My round bust is 7.5. Then I'll replace back the 1 inch dart. Then from my zipper, I'm going to be coming in by half inch. Then I'll replace it back and I'll take my 1 inches allowance. On my chest line, I'll input my 1.5 inches allowance too. My hip round is 39, so if I divide it by 4, that will give me 9.75, my 1 inch allowance. Then I'll connect all the lines together. At this point, I'll blend in my half inch here and I'll blend it back to my hip line. My new zipper line is 1 inch, then I'll connect it from the waist up. This is the new zipper, so the back dress isn't clear what was sewn on it, so the same scallop might be drafted. So if you want the same drafting for the front and the back, measure what you have on your left and on your side, just like the front pattern. Remember to come down by 1.5 inches on the hip part. So draw out your scallop, fold in your dart before you do that. If you want a scallop at your back also, come down by 2 inches here. Just be creative and free with it, so extend it to the zipper line. On the left side, I came up by 2 inches, so fold in your dart like I said and draw your asymmetric curve and take it across the dart leg. Remember to come in by 1.5 inches also. And for the upper region, I'll also draw out my curve. But I'll maintain a normal back pattern. Now I'll go ahead and cut it out. So this is my back pattern. Next, I'll cut the front and the back pattern on my fabric. First thing I'm cutting in my center front. So ensure to add half inch, but I added quarter of an inch here, and all round I added half inch, and I also added at the down part here. This is for the side back and here is the side front. So you had half inch joining allowance and had here too. So here is the zipper. So this is the zipper side. I just added half inch joining only to the side. So the next one is the right side. So I added half inch on the that side, 0.25 here. No allowance will be added here. So I did that on the pattern drafting already. And on the scallop, add half inch. So here is the last one. So ensure to close your darts. Add half inch joining allowance also. So this concludes the end of this video. The next one will be the sewing tutorial. So join in on the sewing tutorial. So like, share and subscribe till I see you in my next one.